my first company in college. It was called SponsorNet New Media. And it was this like a prolonged failure where we were slowly, there were several points in time when I knew it was failing and I wasn't quite done with it yet. And I had 3 co-founders and we were slowly just coming to terms with the fact that we're never going to succeed building world's best. And I think we may have been the first or second banner advertising network in 1994 in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, with no venture capital possible, while trying to not fail out of computer science. It was doomed for failure from day one, but we still sort of stuck it out for about a year. And there was a point, or 2 specific points in time when I sort of knew it was going to not really go well, and then when I knew it failed. So the second point in time when I knew it wasn't going to go well was when DoubleClick launched. And we're sort of like, oh, they're doing what we're doing, but they're awesome and in Palo Alto, and they have lots of people that know advertising, and they have every feature in my mental roadmap already implemented. Like, all right, well, probably we're going to be number 2. Like, we're going to be okay. And then 6 months later, we're basically out of money, and I literally had exhausted every student credit card I had ever been able to get, and it was myself and one of my other 3 co-founders on a drive back from Chicago, where we went out to try to raise money from Leo Burnett, which is one of the largest advertising agencies at the time anyway, based in Chicago, where we told them about the internet and told them about new media and media buying, and they were sort of looking at us like we were space aliens, and one of the people in the room said, "How old are you, son?" And a variety of emotions went through my mind, and none of them were positive. And finally, we sort of packed our stuff in our crappy little car and drove down Highway 57, and we spent the first 15 minutes just silent, because it was like the end. Like, this company is now out of money. I am $5,000 in debt, which seemed like an incredible amount of money at the time, and there was nothing else to do. Like, we were just done. Like, there were no other options. And we spent for 15 minutes silent, and then 15 minutes kind of trying to start a conversation about what's going to happen next, but it was like, no, not really. Like, the other 2 guys are moving to Palo Alto, and they're dropping out of school, and they're going to go to the places where cool people go to start. This was exactly the year that Netscape launched, or maybe a year after Netscape launched. Maybe Netscape was thinking about going public, but like, the web was happening, and we were in Champaign-Urbana. And it started in Champaign-Urbana, kind of, but it moved on to Palo Alto, and we were still trying to graduate. And it's like a 3-hour drive. First 2 hours were miserable, and I was basically like, well, do I like go back to my dorm room, and do I tell my parents that they were right and I shouldn't start companies, I should go get a PhD? And then the last 30 minutes were sort of like, wait, we're about to get to Champaign. We should probably discuss the next company we're going to start, because, well, what else is there to do once you graduate? And that's what we did. Like, the next 30 minutes were like, all right, well, that one's dead, so let's just go to another one. And by the time we got to Champaign-Urbana, we had basically had a business plan, and we're like, let's go register another one with a county clerk. And that was that. So it was like a very brief moment of failure, all packed into a single road trip. I actually think that was the moment when I realized that I cared less about what company I am starting or running, and just kind of finalized this view that I'm never going to work for anybody. I'm just going to start companies. And that was actually probably one of the more defining moments of my young adult life, where I sort of went, so basically, even though I just ran myself out of money, out of everything, and completely destroyed relationships with everyone I ever cared about. Like, I think it was right around the same time my girlfriend not only kicked me out of the apartment we shared, she proceeded to bring me everything I left behind in the middle of the night and dumped it on my doorstep. Basically, you obviously care more about your servers than you care about me. It's over between us. Like, yeah, she's probably not entirely wrong, but this is kind of the life. That's what I'm going to do. And that was actually pretty happy. I sort of knew that I passed through the pain threshold has been reached, and I went by it, and it was okay. So every time I failed subsequently, which this was the company number 1 that failed, there was several more before the first one that actually did halfway decently, and the next set of failures were a lot easier. It was kind of like, oh, I know how this feels. This is going to be miserable, and then it's going to be okay, and then we're going to start another company. And so after that, I was like,